ADHD isn't just distraction, it's drive, doubt, and deep self-discovery. ADHD shapes more than attention, it shapes identity. In this episode, Bailey and I open up about living, creating, and building relationships with ADHD. Why understanding your brain changes everything, and why embracing who you are might be the most powerful strategy of all. If you're enjoying the show, it would be huge if you could help me out. Hit the follow button and leave a rating. It really helps the show grow more than you realize. This is TOMU, the open mic, unfiltered. Let's get fucking into it. Hello, Bailey. Thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
It's been a long time coming. For those that don't know, me and Bailey have tried to get this going a few times. We've had to reschedule for one reason or another, but he's finally here and I'm excited to have him. I got in contact with you, Bailey, because I've seen your TikToks discussing ADHD, and for me it was very, very new for myself because I'm obviously late diagnosed, so I was still trying to learn what it was with my medication and what ADHD was as a whole. I mean, obviously I've lived with it, but I didn't understand that I was living with it as such. The one that caught my eye was you mentioned about medication and not having a focus initially to drive yourself, because I found when I was on the medication, some days were good, some days were bad. And I found myself when I didn't have, like you said, I think it was, if you didn't put your focus into something concrete, like make one goal, then I found that I was everywhere. And like you said, I ended up spending hours sorting a cupboard or sorting a drawer or doing the one thing I didn't want to do.
Yeah, 100%. I think medication is not a one-off solution. It's a tool that's available that obviously helps you with motivation. And for me, like, if I don't take it, I mean, I'm fine, but my ability to do something start to finish is not quite available to me. And I'm great at starting things. I'm great at I have the great initiation. If I want to clean the house, if I'm motivated to do it that day, I can definitely do it. But when I'm 75% the way there, I notice that if I start to get bored, then I drop off. And that's just has been a perpetual cycle throughout the course of my experience with having ADHD. And taking medication really has been able to allow me to have the focus to do everything that I need to at 100%. When I'm also doing everything right, which is something we can also talk about in a little bit. Like ADHD is an amazing tool, and it's changed my life completely. But it's one part of a way bigger picture, I would say.
Yeah. And have you known you've had ADHD, like the diagnosis, as a kid, or is it more recent for yourself as well?
So I'm 29 now. I got diagnosed when I was 20 years old. Okay. And I was working with this real estate developer. My friend asked me if I wanted a summer job, just kind of being a landscaper, general laborer. And the boss that we were working for kind of noticed my work habits and tendencies. And he picked up on it right away, being like, what is up with you? Like, you're so scattered. You're so scattered in your thinking and just your execution. What's going on? Do you have ADHD? And I was like, I kind of, I joked it, like I kind of rubbed it off, and I was like, yeah, I probably do. But I knew nothing about it prior to the only thing I knew about ADHD prior to when it was described to me and then getting the official diagnosis and spending the past 10 years learning about it was just there was kids in class that were very disruptive, and they would get pulled out of class to take their medicine and then come back, and all of a sudden they were calm. And that was honestly as much as I knew about ADHD prior to. So when my boss had pulled me to the side and was telling me about his experience with his whole life, he got diagnosed when he was in his 50s, and saying that he actually felt like the first time in his life he had control of his life. And he also was like getting sober at the time as well. You know, that just having someone see me for the first time and being like, hey, you know, your work is like this, but your whole life is probably like how you're
Yeah.
working right now. And it was just, it was a very powerful experience, because I remember him telling me like, all the symptoms that he had experienced, and I almost wanted to cry, because it was like the first time I felt like I was heard. And then afterwards, I went to go get a diagnosis. It took a long time to go through that process. It was multiple stages. My parents had to get involved to be,
Okay.
to prove my case. And when when the psychologist had told my parents about like what was he like in school, and it was, every report card was the same.
Yeah.
If he had a bit of more focus and he sat down, paid attention a bit longer, he probably would do good. But
Yeah.
he's very chatty. He's very chatty. He's got a lot of energy. He can't sit still. Like the typical story that you hear with people with ADHD. So yeah, it's 10 years. So I've learned a lot, but in those 10 years, it's been an incredible experience. My life has completely changed. So I don't know what you would consider that. Is that late, or like, I mean?
No, but it's probably 20, 20 years old is probably a nice place to catch it, I suppose. I mean, obviously, maybe you wish you'd had it a bit earlier through your schooling, but I mean, I'm 34 now, and I got diagnosed, and when you mentioned about getting emotional, I felt the same. I'm sort of the same journey maybe as your boss was. I'm getting sober, and the reason I got the diagnosis was through the program I went to for alcohol substance abuse, and they sort of said, oh, we're going to screen you for like some neurodiversities and ADHD. They were like, yeah, you've got ADHD. And my therapist was quite adamant when he first saw me. He was like, I think you've got ADHD. And like you said there, for someone to tell me that and then to get the diagnosis, it got me emotional, because I started to think, well, now everything starts to make a bit more sense, why I found it so hard, why I found everything so much more difficult than, say, my friends on just like things like homework or getting in on time and being productive in school. And like you said there, my report card was the same. If Cameron spent as much time working as he does being the class clown, then he'd probably get somewhere. Do you know what I mean? But it was, my focus just couldn't. If I was into it, and I don't know about you, if I was into something, then I would give everything to that, and I'm 100%. But as soon as I started to get bored or something was disinteresting, it was, okay, where else can I go to get a bit of dopamine, or where can I put my attention that I want to enjoy, or where I want to have some fun?
Yeah, a great starter, poor finisher. And also like, and tell me if you've had a similar experience, but I feel like a big part of the ADHD experience is dealing with perpetual boredom. So like you're constantly trying to find things that are exciting and new. And, when you're talking about your experience with getting sober, I don't know if your experience is very similar, but I found myself previously like trying to find things to kind of soothe me, to calm me down. And even like when I look at like when I party, unfortunately, like I'm not like a 1 or 2 drinks kind of guy. I binge, and everything that I do though in life, I notice, is a binge. And it's because of that, like, all or nothing sort of mentality that people with ADHD have. I think it's very applicable. So I'm sure when you got sober and you recognize that, like, oh, the consuming of whatever it is what you're taking was really a way to soothe yourself, to like feel normal. I feel like, it's that same principle that I noticed within myself of like so many different areas in my life, whether it was like, I need to fixate on like getting, starting a business or like content, I would post like 10 times a day, not sustainably, because of like that all nothing mentality, because if I didn't, then everything just felt like very underwhelming and bored. So
yeah, no, exactly. Mine was probably the marijuana or the weed. I used to smoke a lot, just out of pure, yeah,
Me too.
not just sitting in your boredom or sitting in yourself, and it was a quick way to feel that relief or release. And then, like you say there with the alcohol, it was all or nothing. I've said it before to people, like my friends would say, do you want to come for a pint? And it's, why do I want to come for a pint? Like, are you going out? No. Well, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm either coming and we're going out, or I'm not coming, because I know what I'm like. I won't go home. You guys can go home. I can't.
I very much deal with that too. Like, I'm not, I mean, as I've gotten older, I just haven't drank as much. So it hasn't been something I've considered. I mean, I've always thought about getting sober because like I have that perpetual cycle very much as well. But yeah, like, it's funny, like even at like work parties, they're like, oh, we have a thing called one and done. And it's like, oh, do you want to come for one drink? And I tell them all the time, like, I can't, like,
That's not
I'm
me.
not doing, I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. I don't even want to start that, so I totally get that.
Yeah, I think you're a bit stronger than me in that sense. I was very rarely I could say no. I would always lie to myself, I can have one, I can do one, and then go home, and then before I know it, yeah, it's Sunday afternoon. I've not been home for 2 days, and I think, what have I done?
I think I just have a really bad case of anxiety now. And I feel like some people don't have that, but for me, like, I always worry about that. Like, oh, what did I say? What did I do?
Yeah.
Did I say anything that could have hurt? Because like, it's a reality, and being conscious of that and understanding that a big part of it is because you have this like dopamine seeking brain. That's been something that like I'm throughout the 10 years that I've been trying to figure out my brain and how to go about every component of my life. When it comes to like socializing, drinking and such, I'm very much aware of like my intention of like, okay, if you're gonna, if you want to party, like, just be careful, like, like pay attention, so yeah, it's a process.
Now that you got the diagnosis, did you find that you were more curious then to figure out how your brain was working, or did you have like an understanding of yourself before the diagnosis, but now it's a bit more in depth?
I've always been interested about why I was the way I was, but it just felt like I was looking everywhere and never finding the answer. And like very much like school, it was like I knew I was good enough to like pass classes and stuff like that, but like my brain and just sitting down for that period of time was just not something that I was capable of. And and I thought that like, what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I do that? And everyone else is fine. Like, why is it me? And so, when I got diagnosed, I was looking back on my life and looking at like the cycles, because like really my whole life has been, a matter of certain cycles that I would go through. It'd be like, I'd have the intention of wanting to be really great in school. That would last for 3 weeks. Then I would stop, and then I would fixate on something else. So, really what I've been trying to figure out is like, what are my habits? What are the perpetual cycles that I catch myself falling into? And then, and that's really what the past, I would say more so like 2 years has been about, is like trying to figure out like, what is my operating system that works best for me, and not, not beating myself up, because that's something I've done my whole life. So yeah, I've been super curious over the past few years, and I think it's a lifelong journey.
Oh no, for sure. And I think it's something I'm assuming a lot of people with ADHD have the displeasure of, and it's like I say, it's the self bashing and the negative talk to ourselves. And like you said there, you want to do really well. You know you can do better. You're capable of doing these things, and like you mentioned there, at the time you don't know why you hit this sort of plateau, and then you fizzle out again, and it becomes demoralizing, because the action doesn't fulfill the want. Do you know what I mean? It's you can't sustain it, and you just end up. I used to always say it feels like I build a wall, or I build the foundation, and before I've even got the walls up, I've blown the foundations away, and then I've got to start again. And then, it made me laugh there when you spoke about making businesses and trying to figure out the future for yourself. And I'm the same. I'm like, I could do this and I could do that, and then I start it, and then it's like I get so far, and then you're like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, or I'm burnt out now, and then you leave it, and then before you've picked it back up, something else comes into your mind, and then you start this, and as you probably know, you've got about 7, 8, 9 projects and nothing quite finished, and then you beat yourself up about that,
Oh my God, yeah. So like that, in building on that, like the amount of projects that I've started and finished, like, I mean, if you really do a deep dive in all the social media pages that I've created.
Yeah.
And, all the channels I've done, I probably have like a dozen websites that like I never like fully fleshed out. And I think a part of like wanting to pursue those projects is because I thought that I was incapable of like living a normal life. I was incapable of like managing a 9-to-5 job, like a standard way of living, because I just knew that I would deal with perpetual boredom for the rest of my life if I went through that process. So I was just always craving more, like I was craving like, like what else is out there for me that would actually work for me and actually create a life that I want. And I would say more recently, something I've been reflecting on is that like, if you can't manage the life that you have right now, then, the grand life that you aspire to have won't happen, because it's the same principles that apply throughout every domain of your life. Like whether it's starting a podcast, like consistency is the name of the game. And if you don't have consistency and trying to figure out how to get better, then your podcast is not going to do well. You can be as excited as you want. You can be as creative as you want. But if you don't do this podcast like for longer than a few years, then it really doesn't matter. And I would say with like everything that I've started, it's like, it's not that I was doing bad at these things. I was actually seeing growth, but I would stop because there was a few reasons. One is like imposter syndrome. It's like, my, like how I see myself. And I think how I saw myself was just, I had the voices of like all the people throughout my life who have given me like negative feedback in some sort of way, whether it's like, you need to pay attention more. Why are you late? Why isn't this done on time? Why are you so lazy? Why are you messy? So like, I feel like all the projects I've started and I'd see success and I'd self-sabotage, it's really because I don't believe that I can do it. And recently it's like, no, if you can prove to yourself that you can manage your life properly, if you can show up to the gym 3 days a week, if you can like create content once a day, like if you can do that, then, everything else you aspire for in your life will just eventually happen. It's like learning the principles that really get you there. And I think with people with ADHD, it's just like, you need to just try to figure out how to avoid boredom, how to keep things interesting, but how to ensure that you have outlets that make you feel alive. And I think, there's nothing wrong with having a normal life, but like you need an outlet outside of it that maybe that's going to be the path that you navigate forward towards, or maybe it's just your way of filling your cup up. So yeah, it's tangent, but yeah, it's, and that's really what I've been trying is like my main skill I'm trying to figure out is consistency.
I really liked what you said there about, if you can't sustain or manage the life you're leading at the moment, then, the life that you're foreseeing for yourself or you're aspiring to isn't really attainable at the moment, because you need to be able, like say, you probably need to be able to deal with what you're dealing with right now before you can add more to your plate. It's mad when you speak to someone else and you hear them talk about their ADHD or their patterns or their experience, because I've been exactly the same. It's always wanting more, or there must be more out there for me. What else can I do? And I was very close with this podcast not long ago. I speak about it, I think, in one of my episodes or one of my videos. And I like you say, I've got hundreds of things going on, and I was the same. I was getting to a point where I was just sort of churning the same stuff. I was doing the episodes and I was doing the content, but I wasn't feeling like I was growing with the content or anything was changing within what I was doing. So it just started to become a bit stagnant, and then I was getting bored. And then that's when I started thinking, I can't do this. This is stupid. I'm just pretending. Everyone's probably laughing at me. And so that's why then I decided, right, I'm going to do a YouTube channel, because that's something else I can do that's going to take me away from the mundane of this podcast. And so it's mad when you can resonate. Someone else is literally explaining your life in their own version for themselves as well. It's nice though. It's comforting at the same time.
Oh, definitely. And I look back at a few years ago when I first started creating TikToks. I had created another channel, and I grew up to about 70,000 followers on TikTok, because TikTok was just growing at the time. And I remember I had this epiphany where I was like, what am I doing? Like, why? I don't want to do this. I feel like a phony. Like, why are people listening to me? You find ways to self-sabotage when things are actually going good for you, because like when I look throughout the course of my life, so many things in my life were I knew eventually going to go bad. So like I kind of like, in order to avoid that pain, I just stopped. And like I had things that were going super well in my life, but when they were going too well, it's like, okay, when's it going to get bad?
Yeah.
And that's because of, you know, the amount of people that have provided negative feedback to me in my life, that I'm like, okay, well, you know, like I know that I'm capable of like taking this far, but like people don't believe in me. And that voice has been instilled in me for a very long time. So a part of the process that I'm also been trying to figure out is how to unlearn that, and try to remove those voices in my head one piece at a time. And I think you do that by just like slowly stacking your wins. And I look at like, you know, I've held a job for quite a while. You know, I have a good relationship. You know, I'm creating content that actually means stuff to me. And, you know, like I don't need to quit it. If I'm not feeling up for it, just like take a second to reset and then move forward. But it's like, again, I think also something to note is that like everything in life, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Like it's slow growth. And like, if you're not feeling it right now, give yourself the time to like chill, ask yourself like why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and allow yourself to reset and go back. And
and that's where I've been struggling recently. I think it's the all or nothing, and it's the now. I want it now. It's the patience. And I came to this sort of reflection the other day, and I was, you know, I have the belief in what I'm doing at the moment, which is one part of it, but I don't have the patience. And I then realized I need to work. I can have all the belief in the world, but if I don't have the patience to go with the belief, then the belief ain't going to last long, because I'm going to, like you say, I'm going to self-sabotage. So I need to find a way to practice patience when it comes to myself and the end goal, or even, you know, where I'm trying to get to and trying to understand. Like you said there, if you're not going to do something consistently for a certain amount of time, then it's not, most likely it's not going to happen. It's consistency that's key, which is so cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason.
it's, yeah, 100%. For example, like even on my own personal TikTok, I haven't created any net new content since last year, since December. And, you know, the old me would be like, oh, I'm not doing it every single day. Okay, let's quit. Let's delete this account. But I recognize that like, hey, you know, your account still you know, your videos are still shown to people, you know, like it's still working in the background while I'm resetting. Don't sabotage this, because like there's tons of people, you know, like when you look at the comments, or when you have people message you that are like saying, hey, this is really resonating with me. Now looking at it, because this content means a lot to me, because it's all based off of my like real life experience. When people message me saying like that it's had an impact in some sort of way, if I deleted it, then I'm kind of like doing myself a disservice, because like while I'm taking a break, you know, the content's still getting put out, and it's like resonating with people and it's helping people. So it doesn't have to be this all or nothing
Everyday new stuff. Putting unnecessary pressure on yourself.
Yeah. And and also to the expectations that you have on your content. Like something I really like about your content, you know, your daily vlogs, where it's like, it's just a simple little recap of your day. But like, you think about that over the long period, right? Where you personally get to look back at your life and see how much you've grown. But also too, it just takes one video and one message for someone to say something really great to you, saying like that, you know, your consistency and your, you know, how raw and honest you're being about your experience, how much that's had an impact on someone's life. Like that's really what this is all about. That's why I think it's so important for people to talk about ADHD, is because the reality is that you probably felt most of your life in a silo. You probably felt alone for most of your life. And now you have people that are like talking outwardly about their experience, how difficult it is, not like making it seem like it's this like squirrely mental illness, which is something that really drove me nuts about like ADHD TikTok previously. It's just like, there's so many people that just make it seem like we're idiots and that like we're squirrely, and I just couldn't resonate with anyone that was like that. And I wanted to put my own spin, because I'm just a normal just a normal guy that's trying to navigate my life, and I don't want it to be any weirder. It's not weird. It's like it's a real struggle, and it impacts every part of my life. So when I, like people like ourselves, where we're talking about just in a like a really open, raw, honest way, and it's literally just us pressing a record button, talking about what's going on that day. That's where I think, like, just do that over a long period of time, and you'll really reap the rewards, because the impact you're probably having on people's lives right now, just for you showing up every single day, that's really the goal. Have you had many people message you on your?
I've had people, a lot of messages through the podcast, on the episodes that I do, the solo ones and also the guests. But at the beginning, I didn't have any guests. Obviously, I started myself, and I was talking a lot about my ADHD and the diagnosis and the sobriety and stuff. And yeah, I had a lot of people sort of reaching out to me and saying, it's helped them. And I had one guy, say it really helped, like, turn his life around. And like I say, those things are really positive. The daily vlogs there, I don't know, the hit and miss maybe. Sometimes, I think I said it in my one yesterday, it's like I need to maybe do something a bit more, because I can't keep coming on here every night and just spewing the same thing. Like, I made dinner, I went for a walk, but I did it.
But that's people's life. Like, that's, everyone has that reality, right?
I was like, to show that life isn't always, highlight reels, and I did it for myself, like you said as well. I can then look back at my year and sort of track my videos and see how I've grown, or my thought processes, or how I'm dealing with the podcast, or my own struggles, my stress, and my relationships. And so I did it solely for that reason. But the reason I was drawn to your content is exactly for the reason you said there. It was because I found, when I was even the beginning of last year, when I was sort of in the process of being diagnosed, I was seeing these ADHD TikToks, and I was looking, I was like, that doesn't seem like me. That seems a bit, and I don't know, are they just exaggerating the truth to make it like the point? And then I came across your stuff, and I was like, yeah, see, this is a bit more palatable and like manageable. I can see myself in what he's talking about, and I relate more to that than, I forgot my keys, or someone running around. And it's like, yeah, well, there's different types of ADHD as well. I find, like, I think some people are more hyperactive, some people are more internal. For me, it's, as a kid I was very hyper, but as I got older, I went a bit more, attention was more in my head. I had so many things going on in my head, and I just sort of shut down.
Yeah, it's not a quirky character trait. It really is something that that really does impact every single area of your life, and that's really what I've been trying to articulate. And yeah, like, I really think that, like, for myself, all I really want to do is just try to show people that I'm just a regular person. I'm a regular person, and there's a lot of regular people, and that, like, we need, regular people need more of a platform than just like these exaggerated, quirky, over the top characters that are describing what millions of people that are not like that are experiencing. So that's why I really resonate with your content as well. Like, it really just is you trying to document your experience with trying to figure out, especially, you said later in your life, you're still pretty young, about your ADHD experience. So
it's that tiredness, isn't it? It's like, I remember saying to my girlfriend once, and she's still my girlfriend now, a few years ago, probably about 7-6 years ago. And I said it to my dad when I was much younger, and about going to school or going to work, and it was like, I'm tired. And he's like, we're all tired. It's like, yeah, but it's not like I'm tired I'm tired. Like, I'm mentally exhausted. The thought of going into school or into work or anywhere and trying to pretend that I'm okay today is too much, that it's over. Like, I remember even, as in my 20s, and I used to sometimes cry because I was like, I can't do it. I can't go to work. I want to, and I can't. I'm tired. And then nobody seemed to understand it. And then my girlfriend used to think maybe, you've got responsibilities. You're just being lazy. And it's like, do you think I want to be like this? Do you think I want to sit here and be having this argument with you, or to be feeling the way I'm feeling? But I don't know how to explain it to you, but I'm tired. That's all I could say, is I'm tired.
Yeah.
Mm.
What's does your partner have ADHD, or is she,
She's got
she?
ADD. She was diagnosed recently with ADD, so we're a bit of
Oh,
a we're a
okay.
right pair, yeah.
Yeah. So my girlfriend has ADHD as
Yeah.
well. What's that experience been like for you? Like having, having a partner that's also like that.
It's I think in one sense it's nice because I can look at her and I can be talking to her and I can see that she's gone for a moment.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just stop talking and then I see she comes back, she looks at me and I was like, "Where did you just go?" And she was like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, what were you saying?" So I think
Oh my God. Yeah.
you can have that like understanding with them, so you don't think they're being rude or obnoxious. You know that whatever something's happened. It was like literally yesterday she was sat on the sofa there and I was talking to her and I just seen her eyes go down to her phone and then she looked up at me and she was like, and I was like, "What did you do? What was down there?" She went, "I don't know why I looked down there. Something caught my eye. I'm sorry. What were you say?"
Yeah.
um, so it has its challenges, but I find it's nice because she can do the same with me. We both like I interrupt her quite a lot because she's talking and I want to finish it or I want to say what I want to say, and then she sort of looks at me and I'm like, "Yes, sorry, yeah, continue." I'll
Yeah.
wait. So is it a bit like that for you?
Oh yeah. Well, I find really sometimes it's like looking in a mirror,
Yeah.
and like when you see certain habits from like a different point of view,
Mm,
it's like I understand why people get frustrated with
mm,
people with ADHD. Like I could totally get that, but I also have so much empathy as well that I think really what the benefit of like having a partner with ADHD is that like we both feel safe with each other, because I've had girlfriends in the past that just could not understand why I was the way I was,
mm-hmm.
and it just felt very lonely, and it also felt like very defeating. And like I remember when out of my last relationship, I was in a 5-year relationship, and I was like so distraught because I felt so defeated because I'd spent years like failing at that relationship because I was just becoming my own person for the first time while trying to figure out how to manage ADHD. And I felt, after my relationship, like I was like, okay, I want to grow a lot. I want to change a bunch of things about myself. So I remember I went to the psychologist that had diagnosed me with ADHD, and I was like kind of like dumping all this onto him. And he paused me for a second. He's like, "What you just told me is that you want to change everything about yourself because you were with someone that was just not the right match for you."
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such a disservice to yourself, because there are so many positive attributes about you, and because you were with someone you just weren't compatible with, you want to remove everything good about you just so that you can fit in a box that doesn't exist because everyone is different. And I remember like him telling me that, and it made me super emotional because like I really needed to hear that. And he was actually a teacher at my college that I went to. So I live in Quebec, so we don't, it's not college, called Cégep, which is like pre-college.
Okay.
And so we don't have a year 12. We have, you finish at year 11, and then afterwards you have 2 years. So he was a professor there, and he had said, so he knew me, like he saw me around school. I never really went to many classes because I was terrible in school,
Yeah.
like I said before.
Yeah.
And he was like, seeing how you were in school and seeing how you were with other people, and like the light that you brought into the world, the fact that you want to remove that about yourself because you're with someone that just wasn't right for you is it's honestly upsetting to hear. And like I'm not just saying this, but like there will be someone that is suited better for you and that will love all the parts that come with having ADHD. And that was probably the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me, and I still remember it to this day. And now having a partner with ADHD who loves so many of the quirky attributes about myself and understands so much of the things that I go through because she's going through it, it's been incredible. I feel like I'm in a safe place. I feel loved in a way that I've always wanted to feel loved. And I think it's so important that if you do have ADHD, that finding the right partner that can overlook all the different quirks and flaws is incredibly important.
That's awesome, man, that you found that person for you. And you're absolutely right. It's knowing that you have someone next to you who gets you. And that's why I say to people, our relationship is great because we just understand each other. It's like the other day I came home. I was in this weird part of my life a couple of months ago where I was going to this thrift shop and I was just buying crap. But I thought I could make it into something or get more money back for it. And I came home one day with this oil painting of this young boy. I don't know when it was from, probably 1800s or something. And I come in, she's like, "What have you bought?" And I was like, "Show this oil paint." She's like, "Why the fuck have you bought that?" And I was like, well, she's just like sort of looking at me like, "You're unbelievable." She said, "Maybe you should start selling some of the other portraits you've bought before you buy any more." And I was like, "Yeah, you got a good point." But I was like, "But it's really cheap." She went, "Yeah, it's cheap for a reason, because nobody wants it." I was like, "Yeah, that's fair." But I like you say, I get these ideas, and I think I can flip stuff. That's what I'll be. I'll be one of those guys who buys stuff and then I'll flip it. And then I've got under my bed here, I've just got this whole bag full of just these little ornaments or like trinkets of just crap.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, to add on to that, so my girlfriend, we went to her sister's place, and her husband was getting rid of a 3D printer, and he's like, "Oh, it's free. Do you want it?"
Yes.
And I'm like, "Oh my God, yes, I do. Like, I absolutely need a 3D printer right now." I'm like, there's so many things that I could do with it. And I have not touched it. I haven't touched it. I haven't even plugged it in. And she was like, why would you commit to that? I was like, oh, because at the time, like, it was exciting.
It's crazy exciting. That's it. Yeah. At the time, it really got me excited. I thought, absolutely.
Like, there were so many opportunities with it.
Yeah. And it's like that scene out of Step Brothers, you know. There's so many activities when they're rearranging their room.
So much room for activity.
That's what it's like. You
they
get
build
a buzz.
The bunk bed. Oh my God, they build the bunk bed. That's oh my God, the bunk bed scene is like another
jumps on it, and as it flattens him.
Another relatable moment. So I when I had worked in construction for a little bit, doing home renos, which I was absolutely terrible at. I thought that, I do this for work with like no experience. Why don't I try to do stuff on my own? And I remember like I tried to like redo my room, and it was like a complete disaster. Like I was mudding my ceiling, and I had mud all over the floor because I didn't cover the floors with anything. And then I painted. I didn't put anything to cover the floors. So I spent weeks cleaning my floor. Oh my God.
You think this is much easier at work?
Oh, well, yeah, but you also have to prep before work. Like, you don't just do that. But for me, I was like, it's my room. Who cares?
I'll clean it up later.
So the impulsive moments has definitely been a big character experience in my life.
It's those impulses,
oh my God.
You have one idea and then you start, and then you think, I've always done that. Why did I start this? Because now I need to either finish it or it's going to be left a mess.
You're so convinced that like this is the best idea ever.
This is gonna work. This is it. This is where it all changes.
Oh my God.
But what made you start the TikTok this time around then? Because you said you had a previous one that hit 70,000 odd. Was it just something that was inside of you that just felt I want to do it again, or? Yeah.
So I really regretted that moment when I deleted my account, and I work in social media for a living. Like I've been doing social media marketing for a pretty long time. So like I'm in it every single day, regardless if I post or not. And and really what I struggled with when it came to like trying to post content was like, how do I do this in a way that actually represents me and doesn't make me feel like a phony? Because like feeling like a phony was the hardest thing for me to deal with. I felt I was starting pages, and I would start them, and I know the framework that I need to make in order to make a video do well, but it was like, like it doesn't matter. Like if you have a video that hits 1 million views, but like it's fake, doesn't represent things authentic. It's not authentic whatsoever, then like I didn't care. Like I
Yeah.
my last page, I'd get like I've had videos that have done super well, but like I look at them, feel incredible shame because I'm like, I'm creating content that doesn't, it's just for views. It's not a representation of, my real experience. So this time around, I really was like, okay, I want to talk about ADHD because like I've been doing this. I've been trying to figure it out for the past 10 years. I must know something. And,
I must know something.
it wasn't that I wanted to do it. I felt like I had to do it because it was also a creative outlet for me. And yeah, I remember I was like, okay, how about you just like start off, make the account. And when I just made the account, it was sitting there for a while. It sat there for months, and then I was like, okay, just make one video.
Yeah.
And then I made one video, took a break. It's like, okay, how about we start posting more? And I went on a tangent, and then had some videos that did well, which motivated me to do more. But I think this time around was really because like I created content that I actually care about and that I feel like is, I have something I want to say, and that's what I've been trying to figure out. Like, how do I just tell my story a bit better in a way that's authentic to me?
Yeah, and like I said, I really love your content. I think you portray living with ADHD in a really easy, palatable, digestible way. It's not flashy, it's not in your face, it's just simple, down to earth, and yeah, like I said, it's really easy just to consume. And I think
appreciate that.
You're very welcome. And I think that's where I've been trying to stay true to myself as well when I've been doing my stuff, and because I see other people's Instagrams, TikTok, social medias, and I didn't think, oh, maybe I could do a video like this, but then I start, like you say there, I start to think, but it's not me. That's not who I am. I don't want to do that. And then even if it takes me a lot longer to grow or to get to the place I want to be, I'd rather get there and know that I've stuck true to myself than get there because I've made a video that makes me cringe, but it got views. I mean, I'd rather stay to my authentic self. Yeah.
And your page definitely, like, I've met creators where, how they portray themselves in a video versus when you actually talk to them, face to face or, Zoom to Zoom, whatever.
Yeah,
they're two different people where like who you are in your videos and, our conversation now, I can tell that like you really are living by that. And I do admire people that stick to that code because we need more people like that. And yeah, like I think, with social media and, getting success on it, for like I've been doing this for like 10 years, not just on my own accounts, but doing it for a living. It's just time. It's just like patience over time. Like you just slowly figure out like, oh, when I talked about this topic, it resonated with people. Or, if I learn how to improve my audio quality, which like I can see you have a mic and the sound quality is really good, like that's one little iteration of improvement. You just slowly start to, you stick to like, your authentic self and slowly find ways to make your content better. And that's just like a lifelong process. Like if I look at
everything.
Yeah, like if I look at like the first TikTok I've ever made to now, like it's not even within the same sphere, but like it took me a long time to figure that out. So like for yourself, I can definitely see if you stick to what you're doing, like it will click. It will click. I mean, we're here, like we're doing a podcast. And I don't know how many podcast episodes you've done, but like you're on the right trajectory.
Over 20. I think it's about 26, 7, maybe even 30 now.
So did you know you're one episode away from being in the top 1% of podcast creators?
No. So do you know what I'm going to do when I leave here? I'm going to go do an episode and then I'll be the 1% club. Yeah.
It's true though. Like the average podcast lasts most people only do one episode, but like in order to be the top 1%, it's 21 podcasts, which is crazy to think about. So you're on the right path. And,
I mean, I really enjoy the podcast. It's one thing I do, like you said before, it's a creative outlet for myself, and people are resonating with it, and it's also a therapy for me. So when I go on there and speak for myself, and I just do a solo episode, I'm just talking about how I'm feeling in that week or that day, or how I felt through my life. And again, the whole reason I've done the podcast was for people to listen and resonate and feel a bit more seen, heard, and less alone. Because I wish I had, like we're doing now, I wish I had someone that I could have spoke to or listened to and would have said things like you were doing earlier. And I'm like, that's how I've been. That's how I felt. I can see so much of myself in that. And I'm not a failure. I'm not broken. I'm not, I shouldn't be ashamed of who I am. It's just, my brain is differently wired, and I need to, like you said earlier, I need to figure out what works for me. And that's all it is.
Yeah. And I was talking about this with my girlfriend yesterday. Like, when you're in the weeds of your own mind, like, you are stuck with your brain. You know what you're like. You know how you're feeling. You know what you're capable of. But from an outsider's perspective, no one sees that, right? And, like, in terms of trying to get better, whether it's at content creation or anything in life, really, your main goal is, you got to show up every single day, regardless of how you feel, and honestly, just be honest with people about that experience as well, because regardless if you have ADHD or not, like, life is hard for all of us in our own way. And for people with ADHD, when you talk to someone who also has ADHD and really gets your pain, like, it's incredible. Even these conversations, like the conversation we're having now, but all the conversations I've had with people with ADHD, it's made my life better. It's changed the trajectory of my life, because their experiences makes things more clear to me. And that's why I really think, like, it's super important for you to keep doing what you're doing, because like, as you do this, things become more clear for you as well.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I found out. And this time I'd implore you not to give up on your TikTok. Because I like to watch it anyway. So just, even if it's for me, don't keep going.
It was I needed a break. From it, because like, creatively, I just didn't find, I just didn't have the spark. But this podcast has definitely gotten me motivated again to get back into it. And sometimes it's all it takes, right?
Good conversation or a little bit of something.
Yeah, exactly. And and something also too, like, watching your content is, like, you've done your 2026 vlog, and we're 30 days in, and you've done it for 29. And like, that consistency is something that, like, it's admirable. And like,
I appreciate it.
And I know how difficult it is to show up for 29 days. There's so many areas in my life where I've tried to show up for 29 days, and it's hard for me. I
have been struggling these last few days. I've been like, I think I said it in my one yesterday, like, I didn't really want to do this one. I'll just keep it short, because I'm struggling to find the motivation every night to look at myself and talk about my day.
But just the fact that you were honest about that, and like, you, regardless of how you felt, you still just posted a quick thing just for accountability's sake. Like, that's something that I've struggled with. Like, I've struggled with this, like, this case of, like, if this isn't 100%, if this isn't perfect, then why should I post it? But it's like, well, that's not what it's about. It's just about, like, you don't need to have these videos do incredibly well. You just need to just show up and talk about your real life. And regardless of how it does, someone will resonate with it. And that's really what the name of the game is.
It's the perfectionism, isn't it? Because yesterday, I think I spent about 5 hours just on a thumbnail for YouTube, and I was like, Cameron, what are you doing? It's a thumbnail. Like, it's good. It doesn't need to be exceptional. It's good. It looks nice. Someone will notice it. Stop. Please stop. But it's that's like, if I could just get that a different shade of orange, or it's just
oh my God. My boss is very well aware about, like, what my operation style is. Like, And there are times where I'm like creating something and I'm like doing it for hours, and she's like, how are you still doing this? And I'm like, it's not perfect yet. It's like, no, you're just being a perfectionist, and you're just you're in a tunnel where this is all you can focus on. Get out of the tunnel. And that's something that's also I also now am very aware of, is that like a lot of the things, whenever I get fixated on something, it's because I get stuck in a tunnel. And it's like all I can think about it. Like the minute that I get pulled out, it almost like it causes a bit of like distress for me, because I'm like,
anger. You get there's like a bit of anger.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, like this isn't 100%. I don't like it. It's like, well, listen, most people that are doing consistently well don't do things at 100%. It's 80% done every day. So like you got to remind yourself of that too.
Totally. I could talk about that for another hour, just of perfectionism. But I know you have somewhere to be, Bailey, so I'll let you get going. But honestly, man, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. It's really it's inspired me to keep going, and just to be able to resonate with someone and just understand, that my struggle is their struggle, and our struggle is everyone else's struggle with ADHD. And it makes the world not feel so lonely when you've got someone else sort of going through what you're going through. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come and chat to me.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad I'm so glad we made this work. It's been a lot of fun, and it's made me realize that I want to do more of these. So if you ever want me on another podcast,
I was going to say, I'll have you on. We'll do another one, because there's so many more questions I had to ask you, but I thought I was very conscious of the time, and I just wanted to, so many more questions I have for you, Bailey. But just before you go, what is next then for you? Are you continue with the TikTok and?
Yeah, TikTok right now. I want to do one thing at a time. So I just want to get back in the habit of posting again, and then we'll see. I've always wanted to do a podcast, and if you would maybe do that. So if you want to co-host a podcast or something like that,
I'd be well up for co-hosting it. We could we could do something with the old neurodivergencies or the ADHD. I'd be super keen.
I'd actually be pretty up for that. Whereabouts in the UK are you you're in the UK?
I'm in Copenhagen.
Oh, you're in Copenhagen.
Yeah, I live in Copenhagen. Yeah.
Oh, you sound like
my girlfriend's Danish. I'm British. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Where in the UK are you from?
From a small island called Jersey.
Jersey, okay.
Yeah.
So I lived in London, England for 2 years, and then I got to travel a lot over, all over England. So as soon as I heard your accent, I was like, oh, where's he from?
No.
You're too friendly to not. You're too friendly to be from London. Yeah. So I was like, okay,
guy's not from London. He's smiling. Yeah.
Yeah, you're actually happy.
No, yeah, Jersey, it's a small island just off the coast of France. So you're actually closer to France than we are the UK, but we're a UK island, British island, so hence the accent. But it's a mad island because our road names are all French, but we speak English, so it's interesting.
Your quality of life in Copenhagen must be amazing.
Yeah, when it's not so cold. Yeah, at the moment it's pretty cold.
In Canada.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I've been in the coldest part of Canada, actually in the world right now. Apparently, right now it's -18, but last weekend it was -40.
Okay.
So I get cold. I get the cold.
Yeah, but now Copenhagen's beautiful. It's a great city. Hopefully, if you ever get the chance, you can come and check it out. It's a really cool city.
I've been. I loved it, and I'd be. So if we're gonna do this podcast,
get yourself back here.
Yeah, well, we do the podcast. I'm 100% down for that.
I love that, buddy. I'd absolutely love it. But thanks again, Bailey, and I look forward to chatting to you again. I'm sure it's going to happen. I'll definitely invite you on, and you take care of yourself.
Thank you. You too. Take care. Thanks for having me.
No worries, Bailey. See you later.
Bye.
What a legend of a guy. Thanks, Bailey, for coming on the podcast. I can't wait to do it again with you soon. And let me know if Bailey and I should co-host an ADHD podcast. But to recap on this episode, ADHD isn't a flaw, it's fuel. With self-awareness, the right tools, and people who truly get you, creativity can thrive. ADHD comes with challenges, of course. Boredom, perfectionism, overwhelm, but it also comes with power. Use it. Progress beats perfection. Stay consistent. Reset when you need to, and own your story. If this episode has resonated with you, please rate and follow the show. It really helps. But more importantly, share it with someone you think might need to hear it. This simple act might help someone feel less alone. And you can continue to help the show grow and reach more people by buying me a coffee, because I am thirsty. The link I'll leave in the description. I'll also put the link in the description for the socials and YouTube channel if you want to see what we've got going on over there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. And remember, be good to yourself.